Happy Pride Month, everybody. It's time for another review on a very interesting machine. I bought this for $5 with the Simplicity Century 3. Both of them are $5. I paid $10 for both of them. It's a very old machine, but a very reliable machine. This is the pinnacle of, they just don't make them like they used to. It's almost 50 years old, and it still runs. In fact, it runs better than most brand new vacuums do after a few months. You know it, you love it. It's the beautiful golden Eureka Vanguard with cordaway. So yeah, bought this machine for $5. Came with the Century 3 that I just showed. So it was in all around good condition. If I remember correctly, it actually did not have a belt in it, but I don't remember. Might have been that JCPenney over there. I don't think it didn't have a belt, and that was a problem with it. But it was in really good shape. I only recently did I actually take off this top cover and clean everything out underneath it and throw some new grease in the bearings for the motor. So it's got this absolutely beautiful golden bag with this awesome pattern, and of course the HEPA F&G bag, because it's a good machine, but its filtering with a paper bag is not really that good. But anything can be updated. I mean, why do you think a lot of places are refurbing old warning sirens? They still work, they just need some updates. If only some siren companies would actually understand that, like Blue Valley. But that's not part of it. See, very shiny. There are a couple of scratches on the metal, but oh well. It's almost 50 years old. Cord rewind works pretty good. It's a little bit weak, but it's an old machine. It's a little bit worn right here. It's hit a thing a couple of times. There are some scuff marks, but it's honestly in excellent shape for something of its age. So another thing I have replaced on this is the bristle strips, because the old ones were very worn out. So new bristle strips, and it cleans even better than it did before, which is nice. See this little cast mark right here, 6374. It even has 74 right there on the serial number, which is cool. Yeah. So it's got a very interesting switch setup. You got high in the middle, low down here, and attachments up here. This confuses me, because to use the high and the low setting, you gotta use this thing, which has crumbled, but it still works. That is what that's what I don't understand, is this little switch. Are you like supposed to grab it like this and use it as you go on. I don't know. I don't like how that's set up, but oh well. For an old direct air machine, it's very quiet. The motor is relatively slow, but has a surprisingly similar style motor to the Eureka commercial. The base is all metal, the fan is still metal, so this thing has quite a bit of weight to it, but it's definitely not as heavy as a Kirby, which is why I like this machine so much. It's definitely not the lightest, but it's definitely not like a Kirby, which you could probably drop on your toes and never have a foot ever again. So, it may be all metal like a Kirby, but it's obviously more practical than a Kirby. If you cannot tell, I do not like Kirbys, because they're so fucking impractical. But it runs good, it's a good cleaner. For a machine this age, it does pretty good on a plush pile area rug. Yeah, it's got a cord rewind. So I'll run it on low power. There we go. But yeah, it is a very quiet machine. It's probably one of those vacuums that I would be absolutely fine with having a conversation with someone else while using it. Nice and quiet. Cord rewind works, especially when you have two hands available to use it. Hold on. If I see any comments about my toes, I am burning something. I should probably say, if I see any comments about my toes, I'm going to slap whoever said it. But yeah, it's a great machine. It's old, so it's going to withstand the test of time, absolutely. This thing will probably even see my grandchildren, considering it's got the motor that has replaceable carbon brushes, which I think is a definite plus. Any motor that has replaceable carbon brushes and you can actually still find those carbon brushes is a machine worth keeping, because the bearings may last as long as they last, but if the carbon brushes wear out, then you can obviously just buy a new pair and keep the machine going. And that's what I'm going to do with this. When the carbon brushes wear out, I still think they have a decent amount of length on them. But this particular design was definitely a good design to replicate for commercial use. Kind of like how Sanitaire did it before they were bought by Bissell, back when their motors were still made in Mexico and they used the Amtech motors. So that's just an all-around good design, you know. As long as you got some good quality bearings and a motor that has at the very least 500 working hours, you have yourself a reliable machine. I think this particular machine has anywhere between a 1,000 and a 2,000 hour motor service life, which is amazing. Because something like your average shark only has like a 200-hour service life motor, which is, for like a $500 machine, that is BS. But oh well, like I said, they don't make them like they used to. Everyone's going to be saying that for 1,000 years. We're all going to say that now. This thing is peak reliability and durability. Because, I mean, other than some dirt and dust here and there and a few scratch marks, this thing is in almost brand new condition. The brushroll bearings themselves could probably be replaced because they are very old and grease dries out after a certain time. But other than that, this thing runs better than probably half of the stuff that sits in that absolute mess over there. So yeah, that's the review of this old charm from 1974. I'm Jax Vax and Safety, signing off. Have a good June, and for you homophobes out there, I hope you have a super uncomfortable month. Peace.